So good evening, viewers, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Kajol, and I'm a grade 11 student at Mena Devi Bajaj International School. This webinar will be focusing on us teenagers at home in lockdown mode. So we've been at home for almost 2 months now, and I don't know about you, but there are times when I'm just going crazy. I'm stuck at home, I'm missing my friends, and I can't even go to school. Parties and socializing are definitely out of the question, and I'm sure many of you are in the same boat as I am. So while practicing for this webinar, our principal and director of schools, Nitin sir, invited our English language and literature teacher, Reshma ma'am, to take a look at what we practiced and done so far. We were discussing the matter of online classes when sir got a brilliant idea. He said it would be amazing to have the perspective of a teacher as well. And we've all been discussing this lockdown amongst each other as students. It would be great to see what it's like from the viewpoint of a teacher. So I have with me today two of my friends, Sadhika and Hiram, who study with me. And I also have with me Ms. Reshma, our English language and literature teacher. And we're going to be sharing with you some of what we're facing at this time. So hi Sadhika, hi Hiram, hi Reshma ma'am.
Hello, Kajol.
Hi,
Hi,
Kajal.
Kajol.
So over to you, Reshma ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kajol. I'm really glad to be here with three of my lovely students. And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation regarding how are you guys coping under this lockdown. So these are really the trial times. And without much ado, let's get started. The first thing that I'm really curious to know about is how does your typical day under lockdown look like? I mean, do you have any routine that you follow or just go by what your heart wishes? So can we start with you, Hiram?
Uh, so, so, uh, so every day I get up in the morning, sit for my online classes straight for like 3-4 hours. Then have my lunch, uh, watch Netflix, do my homework, and then sleep. That's my daily routine now.
Yeah. So pretty much, what even I do. Instead of, it's just that my correction of assignments add into that schedule.
Yeah.
Sadhika, can you share your experience?
I think like all of us, it starts with waking up for online classes, and then throughout the day, I try and finish up my assignments before the deadline, and I try and study and pay equal attention to all the subjects as I have more time now. And whenever I have free time, I watch Netflix or I talk to friends online.
Yeah, so Netflix is a kind of a common thing between you and Hiram to pass your time, right? Kajol, how does your day look like?
Just like Sadhika and Hiram, the first thing I do every morning is I attend my online classes. And then afterwards, for a little relaxed time, I binge watch some shows on Netflix. I write for my blog and I try get a little exercise in sometimes. That's all.
Yeah, and at times I'm sure like what I'm experiencing is, it is a bit difficult to drag myself out of the bed in the morning, because the kind of days that we are spending, it kind of becomes very monotonous at times, and you are not motivated to keep doing the same thing. Kajol, like you said, you incorporate a bit of exercise also in your routine. So that was what I was going to ask next. How are you people trying to stay fit during this period? Any physical activity, any workout that you are doing already, or planning on starting, taking up something? So, can we start with you, Sadhika?
Honestly, all I've been doing in terms of working out is just walking around the house because I can't really go out. And I do intend to start a proper workout routine because in times like this, it's very necessary to stay fit, even if we are inside the house. So, and I see on social media also a lot of people post their workout routines. So I think that's very useful for us.
So, like, how do you make use of it? The posts that are made by the people.
I think for everyone, we shouldn't go too far with our workout, and we should understand what our body, how far our body can go, and what our body requires. So I think there are so many workout routines on social media. So I think it's all about trial and error. We can try out a few routines and see which one fits us the best.
Yeah, like you said, Sadika, it is very, very important that we listen to our body. Okay. So there are people who might be able to do something, a kind of exercise, a particular kind of workout, a particular kind of routine, but it might not suit us. So we have to keep trying and keep experimenting and decide for ourselves what would suit us the most. Kajol, what do you do?
Well, at the start of this lockdown, I did not do anything at all. Actually, I was glued to the couch with my book, with my laptop, and my mom kept on telling me on a daily basis, it's not going to work if you're going to continuously sit on a couch like that. It's not healthy for you. And so I started incorporating a little exercise into my routine, maybe an hour a day, because I feel like when we come out of this lockdown, we need to be at our best to deal with whatever the next situation is. And so we owe it to ourselves to at least get 1 hour in every day.
Yeah. So good, you started listening to your mom. And is there any specific thing that you have added to your routine workout, or it is just something that you watch on YouTube or watch on social media and then you try to experiment?
Well, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I picked out a little bit of the routine which they did, things that I knew I could keep up with, not anything strenuous, which I knew I would probably do one day and give up the next because it ended up so bad. So I ended up picking out lighter pieces of the routines and just putting it together to make my own of sorts.
Yeah, that's a very wise decision, because if you just start with something which is really strenuous and your body is not taking it, you might not again, stay motivated. Hey Ram, what do you do?
So after I'm done with my online classes, I do my workouts. I personally love doing workouts. That's my thing. So I suggest everybody in like their daily routine, they should at least do some push-ups or some squats. And as like because of the lockdown, people can't go outside. That's a disadvantage. You will put on fat. That's the worst thing. So if you're lucky enough, you can go on the terrace on a walk, and if you're lucky enough, you can even meet some friends up there. But at home, you can do some push-ups. Uh, and I personally watch some videos on YouTube and Instagram, and some motivational videos to like keep up with it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Hiram. And I'm really glad when you say that, that is your thing. Yeah, like you don't find it difficult to do it on a regular basis. Because in my case, of course, I do like workout, but at times I really, get tempted to just sit back and relax and not do. And then it goes on and on and on. Okay, moving on to the next question. What drives you most crazy about the current situation? Sadika, will you share with us?
I think the fact that we can't really step out and we're stuck in like one place, we're confined within these four walls for so long. I think that drives me the most crazy because it can get suffocating at times. And also the fact that we have there's this uncertainty about the future situation, considering how it's going now and with the news all around. It's really uncertain, and I think that makes us really anxious for the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you are indoors, when you are, not going out and not busy as you have been in the past, there are so many things, like there is so much of time to keep thinking about so many things. So you are absolutely right. Kajol, will you share with us?
I think the thing that's driving me the most crazy so far is that my house isn't my house anymore. It's starting to feel like a little jail with four walls surrounding me and constantly feel like they're coming closer and closer every day because I can't get out of my house. And I'm used to being out of the house for more than half the day usually. And that's what's been driving me a little crazy.
Yeah, that is true. It's kind of unfortunate that houses are kind of feeling like a prison, a jail, like as if we are trapped. Absolutely. Hiram, what drives you most crazy?
This lockdown is actually driving me the most crazy. This wouldn't be there, it would be a happy life, but it's there. So like how like Kajol told that it's like a jail. As my window grills look like a jail, it's like uh, sitting and sleeping in your own cell where you can do everything, but disadvantage is that you can't meet people, you can't speak to them, and you have to just speak virtually to a phone. But that doesn't make it up because meeting a person in person is like a different experience.
Absolutely. So even though somehow we are trying to keep up with the time and making sure that we somehow meet each other, we are using the virtual platform, no doubt about it. But that is not as good as meeting in real,
Anyway,
isn't it? Yeah, very true, Hiram. Okay, moving on to the next. Um, I would like to know, how has the lockdown turned out for you in terms of increased family time? What do you people do together as one family? Can we start with you, Kajol?
Well, family time has definitely increased. I mean, we're home all the time, so we can spend even more time with our family. I think the thing for me is that it's just my mom and myself at home. My dad is in another country altogether, but we keep connected via phone calls. So I think my mom and I, we spend a lot of time together. We've started watching a TV show together that we plan to binge watch all the way throughout this lockdown. So I think that's something good we've gotten to bond over. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. This can also be taken up as the bonding up time, right? Sadika, what do you people do as one family?
I think after a long time, everyone has got a chance to spend time with each other as we don't have our busy schedules because half the day I'm out and then my dad only comes home in the night. So I think after a long time, we get a chance to spend time with everyone. I think family time has definitely increased, and I think that's one of the most positive things of this lockdown. Uh, like a lot of bonding time with my parents, and like Kajol, my mom and I also we binge watch a show that we plan to binge watch throughout the lockdown. So I think that's a good point.
Any activity that you people have gotten into apart from binge watching, like coming together as a family? Like there are some families I know who have started playing some games, some board games, and all that. So anything like that?
My father likes to keep like my sister and I really like mentally busy, so he keeps sending us like these riddles or math problems, and then as a family we'll sit together and we'll solve all of them just to keep ourselves busy. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And that also adds on to, and some kind of an experience that otherwise we might not have experienced, isn't it? So there is this positive side also to this. Hey, Ram, what do you do with your family?
so I think everybody's doing this at home. Don't know each family, but it's like when it comes to family time, you share some stories, and like parents share their own experiences of their past, and like what they were at their age, some fun things that they did, and like what was lockdown, like life before the lockdown, and and then a daily thing that happens between families is that one guy washes the utensils and one guy does the what do you say, mops the floor and stuff. So yeah, and even been watching like others, I sometimes do it, but it's not my thing.
Wow. So it's really good that it's not your thing, because if it's your thing, you just stay glued to the screen.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I really liked the fact that you people even share the household chores. So that's something that we all can pick up from Hiram and his family. Absolutely lovely. Moving on to the next question. How much time do you end up spending in front of your devices? And does this cause any conflict with your parents? Sadika, can we start with you?
I do end up spending a lot of time in front of the screen. That's because of the online learning and also the assignments. And it's the only way I can continue the learning process throughout the lockdown. And I think my parents have come to terms with it. Like they understand that it's the only way I can access my learning experience in a way. But also, I know that I need to set a limit and not exceed my screen time in order to keep, maintain the balance. So yeah.
Yeah. So when you say your parents have come to terms with it, so does it mean that there are no conflicts at all?
I think obviously there are, but at first it was because it was a very new experience for me as well as for them. I mean, they were not used to seeing me in front of the laptop sitting for hours together. So, but I think now they've understood it, and it's like a mutual understanding now. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Kajal, how is it between you and your mom?
Well, at first, as Sadhika said, this online learning thing is new for all of us. And so my mom as well, she wasn't used to seeing me sitting in front of the laptop for academics. And then back on the laptop when I wanted to watch something, back on the laptop when I wanted to write something, and just sitting on the laptop for like 18 hours a day. So there were a lot of conflicts between us at the start, but I think moving forward, we sort of came to an understanding that there would be a set limit, that I shouldn't overgo this limit and sort of always be on the laptop, so that because it's not good for us to be on the laptop for so long. Our eyes are constantly straining, and I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I get headaches when I'm on the laptop for a long time. So my mom was worried, but we came to an understanding that it's a requirement for this lockdown.
I'm really glad that you decided to set a limit to it, because when you said 18 hours, I was like, oh my God, 18 hours is too much. So I'm glad you set a limit to it. And even like you said, you're facing health issues due to constant exposure to the screen. The same thing is happening to me also. Even I get headaches, even my wrist has started paining working on the laptop all the time. So that is very, very true. Hiram, how about your experience?
Uh, Not many conflicts, as I get a limited screen time, but there were some conflicts like when I was doing my online classes and when I needed my personal time on my laptop or my phone for watching YouTube or Netflix, I wouldn't get that because increased screen time, that wasn't good. And then my like I used to have a small argument with my parents, like please give it to me. So they used to give it to me for an hour or so, and so yeah.
Yeah, what you said is absolutely right. Like, you spend so much, we end up spending so much time in online classes that after that, if you have to spend some more time for your own entertainment, that also becomes a big issue then, because that is just going to add on to the screen time. I'm really glad you people have come to terms with your parents on this. Moving on to the next. Yeah. So I want to know whether you have been using this lockdown period to just relax and unwind, or have you started working on things that really didn't have time in the past? Like, for example, learning a new language or a skill or something like that. Can we start with you, Hiram?
So there's a lot of free time now. So like the things that I wasn't good in like academics and maths or English. So I started to focus on it a bit more. And this online classes with the school, even we have a WhatsApp group, and we can actually like speak to the teachers whenever we want to. So get a uh, you know uh, direct feedback from them, and so that's the improvement in me.
Yeah. So anything? So what are you trying to say is you have started spending time and working on the subjects that
Yeah,
you were weak in,
week.
right? Absolutely. And actually, I can validate over here because very recently we had your FAs. We just conducted your FAs, and your performance was much better. And I can say, you are really working hard. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Uh, okay, moving on to you, Kajol.
I think I've been seeing the same on social media a lot. People are putting out a lot of pressure that saying that we need to be doing something during this time. And I just think it's not right because we, as it is, we have a pressure on top of us constantly knowing that we're currently in a pandemic or surrounded by a lot of anxiety-inducing news all day long. So I think that it's okay to take your time with whatever you want to do. It's not that this is a time to get done with what you've always tried to keep doing but not had time to do. It's okay to take a seat, lay back and relax. But I personally, I have been using this time to pick back up on my writing. Writing's always been a passion of mine. So I created my own account platform and I've started putting my work out there. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in knowing what are you into? Like you just said, you have started writing and you have put up your account. So what is this account exactly? Is it on some social media platform? Is it a blog or what is it?
It's on Instagram actually. My writing pieces usually, some of them take on a really positive tone because positivity is exactly what we need right now. But I know it's not something people always relate to because there are people sometimes and they're in a dark place, especially now. And sometimes they need something to let them know that other people can feel the same. So I try to keep that balance in my posts so people can somehow relate to it and just let that help them right now.
Yeah, I would really like to read your work. So, and I'm sure even our viewers would be interested in reading what you are writing. So, if possible, can you share your account name in the chat box once we are done with the session? Okay. Thank you so much. Sadika, what do you do?
Um, Actually, I agree with Kajal. The pressure to be productive is insane, especially on social media, because every day I see new people coming up with new hobbies or talents that they've had, but they didn't have the time to um, really put themselves out there. I think I think the pressure is insane, and you shouldn't force yourself to be productive, but you should take this as a source of motivation to actually maybe try something new, because in the end it's only good for yourself. So I think instead of trying something new, I took I took up something which I had done in the past, but then I had to leave it because of my academics, and that is playing the guitar. So now that I have time on my hands, I can actually do that. And at the same time, I can focus more on my weak subject, and also I can relax at the same time. So I think there should be a balance between relaxing and staying active.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really agree with what you just said. It's really insane to give into that pressure that you have to be productive. If you don't, even I remember reading such posts that if you haven't picked up a new language or haven't started learning a new language or picked up a new skill or whatever, you never lacked the time, you just lacked the discipline. And something like that makes you feel really guilty. So, yeah, we need to know where to strike the balance and not give in to that pressure and not get carried away by posts that might be harmful also to you. And I'm really glad to know that you have picked up to learning guitar. And I would really, love to listen to you someday. Moving on to next. Yeah, this sudden change has compelled all of us to make a lot of changes in our lifestyle. One such change is shifting to online learning experience from face to face learning experience. I want you all to share your online learning experience with me. Okay, can we start with you, Sadika?
I think it was definitely hard at first because it's such a new experience. Um, but if we leave out the fact that we keep switching from the mute and unmute option, I think thanks to the efforts of the teachers and the school, it feels pretty much like a classroom. Because it's pretty interactive, even if it's through chatting or speaking. And the teachers are also very approachable because we can easily ask our doubts during the class or even after the class. I think in that way, it's going smoothly for now.
Yeah, I'm glad. What about you, Hiram?
So first 10 days was nice, I can say. And then after that, it started becoming a headache because you're sitting on the screen straight for 4 5 hours, looking at the screen, and as like Sadika told that they are unmuting, like switching off their videos and stuff. So it was a good experience, and the advantage is that you can have a one-on-one meet with the teacher and have your doubts cleared and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Sitting on the screen, that definitely, is a task for like straight 4 to 5 hours, like you said.
Hmm.
Kajol, share your experiences.
Well, it's different to say for one. I think throughout the first week, I was looking forward to being able to see everyone's faces, talk with everyone, and then I quickly realized it was just a screen with everyone's video off, everyone's mic off, and everyone just typing away in the chat box. But on the plus side, our teachers have been very accommodating. They understand that it's new and they try to make it even more interactive, and they try to angle their lessons in a way that they know will actually retain the information and not just blankly stare at the screen. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that is true. Like, virtual experience cannot actually always match up to face learning. However, at least we should be thankful that at least we are able to meet each other and the process is still going on. The learning process is not kind of, stopped. Um, Let me move on to the next one. I would like to know whether any habit, desirable or undesirable, that you picked up or discontinued during this lockdown. Sadika, will you share with us?
Uh, I think the hardest would be my sleep schedule because at first I got so used to the whole I don't have to go to school anymore, so I can sleep, more time. So I think my sleep schedule at first was really messy. But I think thanks to the online classes and also the regular assignments that we keep getting, I think it keeps me busy and it also it's corrected my sleep schedule in a way. And of course, the lethargy does hit at times, but I try to keep myself busy by doing like even small things such as cleaning my room or sorting out my cupboard just to keep myself busy.
Yeah, right. Hiram, what do you do? Any new habit or anything, any hobby that you might have picked up, any new skill that you might have learned or discontinued?
Yeah, so during like before this lockdown, I used to go to school and all of that. So I didn't have much time at home. Uh, so with my mom, I used to make basic food, like you can live with it. So then afterwards, my mom introduced me with some more dishes like pasta and pizza. So like last week, I made a pizza from the bread, and it's actually a success. So that's the skill. So you have to improve at everything you do. Like it's for me, it's studies or like doing daily chores or like speaking. Yeah.
Wow. So you have started learning to cook,
Mhm.
right? And you just said that, last time you had prepared pizza and pasta,
Yeah.
right? And pizza from bread,
Yeah.
right from bread, like you
Yeah.
made bread at home also.
Yes.
It is difficult for me to believe it. However, you can convince me if you can, let me know if you can just share what did you do, the process, the procedure.
So like it's a basic thing how you make bread. You just take all-purpose flour and the most important thing is that you need yeast, activated yeast. Pour it in water and then put it in the all-purpose flour. and then keep like mix it and rest it for like 4 5 hours till it like pops up, and then kneaded like a normal, what do you say, chapati dough, and then just roll it and put your toppings. I personally love chicken, so I put a lot of chicken, and it helps me grow my body, fitness and stuff, high protein, and yeah, just toss it in the oven and it's ready.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Mhm.
So you are actually doing it. Fine. Great. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Kajol, any habit that you have picked up or discontinued?
Well, as I said, I've picked up on writing again, so
Hmm.
that's something that I'm really happy about. But something that I've discontinued with would be my sleep schedule. It's definitely gone for a toss. I mean, I remember when I could wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning for school and be happy. Now, if I have to wake up anytime before 8 o'clock in the morning, not a good sight. So,
Yeah. So, even I'm experiencing the same thing. My sleep pattern has actually gone for a toss, and I will really have to struggle, in the
Mhm.
during the initial days once the lockdown period is over. Okay. Now, this virus has actually visited us unannounced, has taken the entire land under its claws, and it's becoming really difficult. Like it is taking a lot of time to overcome this challenge. And meanwhile, we have been confined to the four walls at times, and all the time there's this uncertainty that is hovering over our heads all the time. During such circumstances, at times it becomes really difficult to remain sane. Okay, so I just would like to know, how are you maintaining your sanity under such circumstances? Like, is this situation having an impact on your mental health? Can we start with you, Hiram?
Mental health, as in like, yeah, you are in a house, you're bored, you are not speaking to anybody, and so you have to keep a positive mindset that this pandemic is going to get over anytime. You have to, like, have that positivity within you that this will get over and even free the world. And yeah.
Yeah, so that is very important. Like you said,
Mhm.
remaining positive, try to remain positive. So that will definitely help you sail through this time.
Yeah.
Kajul, what do you do?
well, so as I said, my dad is in another country altogether. So in terms of mental health, stress is sometimes at an all-time high in this house for my mom and I, and there's a constant nagging worry at the back of my head. But as Hiram said, and which is something we should all follow, is that we should believe that there will be an end to this pandemic and that everything will be okay and that everyone will come out safe and healthy at the end. I think that's what we should constantly be telling ourselves to kind of get us through the situation. And I definitely recommend, if you can, keep the news off at most of the time if possible. I'm not saying be detached, but don't hover over the news at all times. Just keep that positive mindset. It will get you through.
Yeah, that is very important. Try to stay away from negativity. However, you need to stay updated also. So striking a balance is very important. Sadika, what do you do?
Um, I think the whole negativity around us with the news and everything, I think it contributes a lot to like anxiety levels. And I think the uncertainty of the future also makes us really anxious. But I feel like as long as we keep communicating with each other, like family and friends, I think it makes us feel like we're not alone. Like even these people feel the same as us. So we're all in this like together, and it's very important to maintain a positive mindset for the future as we work towards a safer future by doing our part, which is socially distancing. So I think yeah.
Yeah, right. Like what you said, doing our part is very important. So each one of us should know that it is our duty too to make sure that the situation comes under control. Absolutely. And keeping in touch with our near and dear ones, which are loved ones, is also very important. Right. Now, we spoke about staying productive during trying to stay productive during these times, trial times. I would like to know whether you find it challenging to stay motivated to remain productive during this lockdown period. So, all the days are not the same. So, are there days when you are not motivated enough to stay productive? Can we start with you, Kajol?
Absolutely. There's some days when I feel like I should be able to get it all done, and sometimes I do manage to get it all done. And then the other days, I have absolutely no willpower to get out of bed or get off my couch because I keep telling myself, as it is, you have nowhere to be, might as well stay in bed. But I realize that kind of perspective is not gonna get us through. I mean, try to keep to a schedule. Try to do something every day, if not a lot, just a little bit. I think it helps us find that drive to be productive when we have in mind that, okay, we did this yesterday. We absolutely can do it today, and we will do it tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so we have to keep pushing ourselves. We are all humans after all. So we are going to give in to the temptation of, like you said, you have nowhere to go. Why don't you stay in bed as like might as well? So that is very true. Sadika, what do you do? Like,
Uh,
do you have you had experiences when you are really not motivated to come out and do something productive?
yeah, definitely. And I think my parents also agree with this. They keep saying that I'm living life as though I'm living in a dormitory because I hardly step out of my room. But that was the situation at first. I think as time went on, I've seen people like Kajol, for instance. She's taken up writing and she's very passionate about it and she's very good at it. I think that gives me motivation to do something like I've taken up playing guitar again. So I think others' success also gives me motivation to be successful in being productive and keeping myself busy.
Yeah, this is a very important point, actually. Stay like when you look at others who are fighting their blues and who are, able to come up and who are able to stay productive, stay motivated to remain productive. That is very important. So that also helps us. Like if your friend is able to do it, you might as well be able to do it. Hey, Ram, does this happen with you also?
Yeah, so I feel that the you have to be motivated at all times to be productive, as you said.
Yeah.
Like biggest motivator is that you can watch videos and stuff to motivate you. Or biggest motivators are your own parents. They will tell you to always get up and tell, okay, and all of that. So have to be productive.
Yeah, right. So, your parents, people around you also play an important role to push you, to
Mhm.
help you stay motivated. So that is also important that, and that also you are also around other people. So,
Mhm.
even you are responsible
For
to
that.
push. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Hiram. So if you see anybody around you losing that spirit, so you should also be there for them
Yeah.
to push them. Yeah, absolutely. Now you can't avoid boredom. Okay, so what do you do when you are bored to death doing all that you have been doing every day? So is there anything that helps you escape this boredom? Sadika, can you tell
Um,
me?
for me, like while studying, often I get bored, so I try to keep switching from one subject to another, and in this way, I can pay equal attention to each subject.
Hmm.
So I think that helps in avoiding boredom. But also the fact that I stay in touch with my friends like through video call or just normal call. And even though I cannot meet up with them, just talking to them makes me feel refreshed because I know that we are going through the same things and we can relate to each other better. So I think that's a good way to avoid boredom.
Yeah, so that's your escape to boredom. Yeah, absolutely. Kajul, what do you do?
Well, just like Sadhika, I also speak with my friends. We're constantly in touch, and that helps me fight off boredom. And one other thing which my mom, dad, and I have picked up on is the app Ludo King, which has been storming through the App Store. Whenever we're bored, we just pick up our phones, and now it's a battle on a game on the phone, and boredom is just gone with the snap of a finger.
Yeah, thanks to technology,
Mhm.
right? Hayden, what do you do?
So like when I get bored, I just listen to music,
Yeah.
sitting in my room, or like talking to my parents, or like how Kajol said that playing games with friends online. So like boys normally play PUBG. So that is how we get the boredom out.
So you two play PUBG.
Yeah, sometimes with my brother or family, friends.
Okay, okay, fine. Now, this experience has been a very novel experience, and none of us was prepared mentally, or even you could say, we never made arrangements to kind of come for this phase ever. Okay, so all of a sudden we were pushed into this phase, and we are somehow trying to sail through it. And like life, there are so many lessons that we learn from life. So over here also, I would like to know, what are your overall learnings, or say takeaways, from this unusual experience that we all are experiencing? Can we start with you, Sadika?
I think I've learned the importance of like minimalistic living. Like I've learned that I can do without a lot of things that I used to indulge in before this lockdown situation. And the fact, and obviously with all the news that we keep seeing, I've learned the importance of like protecting people at the bottom of the ladder, and those who live a privileged life should provide a protective cover for the people in need during such tough situations. And I hope as like a society we can emerge like wiser and stronger together.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so as well. Kajul, will you share?
Well, I think the most important thing I've picked up on is that we're all in this together. I mean, disease does not discriminate amongst people, and discrimination is something that's faced in society till date from a long time ago. It's something that we're all working to eradicate, just like this disease. And I feel like we should all come together, put all our resources together so that we can come out of this lockdown, this pandemic, all safe, healthy, and with a good mindset. And as we've been seeing on the news, all the nations, they've come together as well to try get bring up a solution for this problem. So I think that teaches us that no matter what happens, we're all in this together, because after all, we're all humans.
Yeah, it is really important to put our differences aside and work together. Hey Ram, what would you like to share?
So like as like she told that we should help people. So we MBIS with my friends Kajol, Sadiq, and others have also come with a fundraiser page for others. So we have our own page. We It's a crowdfunding thing. So people put in money, and then after a month, the money goes to the poor people who actually need it in the pandemic. So yeah.
So yeah, this is really, I'm really proud to learn about such activities that you are getting yourself into.
Mhm.
Raising funds for the needy is really, really important, and you people are doing that. Um, yeah, thank you so much for taking this initiative. And if possible, if you can share in the chat box what for, like any link for that fundraiser program, which can reach our participants, our viewers, and who can contribute. Even I would like to contribute into that, so please do that. And a reminder, Kajol, you have to share your Insta account link also.
Of
Yeah,
course, ma'am.
yeah. And this also reminds me of one of the important things that we learned in one of the novels that we are studying, The Handmaid's Tale. If you guys remember, the character Offred, she comments on how she's been taking a lot of things for granted. Okay, like one of the things that is taken away from them is their freedom. So now they are now they value, once the freedom is taken away, they value how small things like being able to meet your friends, being able to take a stroll in the garden, how those things also meant so much. So when you people commented on putting aside our differences, or having valuing the minimalistic lifestyle that we could live in, so all those things reminded me of Red's comment, like we at times we take things for granted and we don't value. So this is the time when we also start expressing how much we value the presence of someone in our lives, and how much we value the privileges that we have been blessed with, isn't it? So it's right, it's the time that we take these learnings forward and we never forget these things. Okay, so we have almost come to an end to the session. There's this question from Mr. Pravin. I would like to pose it to you all. He would like to know, what do you people prefer? What do teens prefer most? Staying at home with gadgets and Netflix, or would you like to go outside uh, the doors and spend your time with friends? So, what would you say, Sadhika?
I think now it's definitely the second option because and I keep thinking back to the times when I actually said no to my friends for hanging out. Like I really regret it. And I feel like the moment everything is settled and it's safe to step out, I definitely go and meet them.
Absolutely. And Kajol?
Definitely the second option. I mean, I would love to go meet my friends right now. It's just different seeing them face to face than, I know we have video calls and we can still see each other, but there's nothing like being able to hug your friend.
Absolutely. That experience, yeah. And Hiram, which
Yeah,
option?
obviously the second one.
Yeah, you were ready
Yeah.
with your answer. Yeah.
Yes, obviously. I personally don't like speaking on the phone, but now it's become a routine that you have to speak on the phone and on the camera. But yeah, the second option is really, you
Yeah.
know, just best.
Yeah. And there is another question from Miss Sumati. She wants to know, what is it that will keep them motivated to face this challenge? Any one particular thing, if you want to put your finger on, what would you like to say? Something that will keep you motivated. Kajol, can you start?
The one thing to keep me motivated, I mean, looking back at history, we've seen pandemics like these happen before, and we've seen how people have found solutions to them and people have emerged safe and healthy. So I feel like that's motivation for me to constantly believe that if they did it, so can we, and we can emerge stronger as
Yeah,
well.
having faith is really important. Yeah, and learning from the past. Hiram, what will keep
Uh,
you motivated?
like I said previously, positive mindset,
Yeah,
having you motivated all the time because you don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, they are still finding the vaccine. We don't know. So yeah.
yeah. And Sadhika?
I think the fact that we are moving towards a more brighter and safer future, and for that we have to come together as a society and do our part. And I think that keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with this note, this brings us to the end of our today's session, and it's almost time to sign off. And I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways from this session for us as well as for our viewers. And we should not forget that things will change, and there will come a time when we will be finally done with this pandemic, and we will get back to our normal, being our normal selves and leading a normal life. So in a nutshell, I would like to say that this session has been really fruitful, and I hope that our viewers feel the same and have had a great time attending it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your presence. Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much, Kajol, Sadhika, and Heram, for being on board.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
ma'am.
having us, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was a pleasure indeed. Stay safe, stay indoors. Take care. Bye bye.